Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rob Sutton and we're back here with another video today. Today we're actually going to go over my new home office setup that I've upgraded for all my video conferencing needs when we're working from home more. Before we get started with the video, just wanted to let you know I am going to leave all the links down in the description below for everything that I'm using, along with the reviews that I've done on the individual things that I'm using with this desk and this video conferencing setup that I've already done in the past. So now we need to get at what we're actually looking at today, and that is my video conferencing setup. Let's get at it. So here we are at the beginning of 2021, and it looks like remote working is here to stay. I've been working from home for the past 15 years, but the difference I have now is that I don't travel nearly as much as I used to. Until the COVID spread slows down and the vaccine works, I'm doing most of my meetings from home on WebEX or Microsoft Teams. When this whole thing started, any work from home supplies dried up quickly. I remember trying to find a monitor for my wife and it was next to impossible. Everyone was scrambling to turn some part of their home into an office. Instead of going out and getting the run-of-the-mill web conferencing equipment like a webcam, I decided to go overkill with some equipment I have here at the house. I normally don't recommend spending this much money on video equipment for web meetings, but if you want to look insanely good in comparison with your peers, here's how you can do it. So first, let's look at the video setup. At the beginning of COVID, not many camera manufacturers allowed you to use their cameras as a webcam. That quickly changed. As soon as Sony released their simple plugin that allowed you to install their camera as a webcam, that was what I was using. All you have to do is download and install the plugin from Sony. Once you plug in the camera via USB-C, it will show up in your settings in either Zoom, WebEX, or Microsoft Teams. It really is that easy. Since then, Canon, GoPro, and others have released similar tools. I tested out the GoPro one, and it works pretty well. Now you no longer have to have an additional video capture device to get high-quality streaming video. There's only one big real issue though. You are limited to 1024 by 576 resolution. It's a great free option, and for business use, you aren't normally on full screen meetings. But if you really want to get the best quality, you need a capture card. I opted for the Elgato CamLink 4K. It's incredibly easy to set up. If you can plug in a USB flash drive, you can install it. It also works straight out of the box with Microsoft Teams, GoToMeetings, Zoom, and WebEX. The best part, it is capable of 4K 30 frames a second streaming and 1080p at 60 frames a second if needed. It is also great if you need to record anything, as you can record straight to a hard drive for distribution. The camera setup I'm using? It is the recently picked up Sony ZV-1 as a second camera for video work, and it ended up being the perfect option. It has a 24-70 zoom range, which is perfect for desk use, but it also has an aperture of f1.8 to 2.8, which means it is great for lower light situations like a home office. The fast aperture also means that you get great blurring in the background. There's even a button that is unique to the ZV-1 that will force a blurry background, making for a very professional look. The fake versions in software always seem to cut off parts of people's hair and head, and it just looks awkward. On top of that, the ZV-1 also gets the same 4K video quality as my much more expensive A7 III, so you end up with a high resolution sharp image that will be better than any other commercial webcam option. The ZV-1 also has Sony's incredible eye focus auto tracking, which makes it so your face and eyes are always perfectly in focus. So now that we've got the video set up, let's go into the audio. What do I use for an audio setup for web calls and video calls? Now, I can't have some cheap microphone when it comes to the video feed is looking so clean. So for my audio setup, I'm using a Tascam DR40X. So just like with the Sony, the Tascam has a driver that shows up in the settings for the web conferencing application, so it makes it incredibly easy to set up. Unfortunately, these programs do compress your audio just like they do with the video, but you will find that your video will have a lot cleaner, richer sounding setup than most cheap microphone setups. There's also a lot less ambient noise. The Tascam recorder mics are set up to record voiceovers, so things like vocals are a lot better because you get two high-quality condenser microphones that function as a USB mic. These built-in microphones are adjustable unidirectional microphones for recording in an XY pattern for tight stereo imaging, or you can split them into an AB pattern for more ambient recording if you need to get more background noise. Now that we have the video and audio set up, what are we doing for lighting? No good video is there without proper lighting. The high dynamic range of the camera combined with a fast 1.8 lens does do a great job in low light situations, but you are not able to actually get the full value of that without good lighting. I have a huge LED light that I use for video, but any cheap video LED light works. Just point it off the side of your face and you get some nice contrast lighting that looks really good for a professional look. I use a small rig setup with an arm on the tripod with the Lume Cube light so that my face is properly lit. It's a cheap add-on that adds a lot of quality to your video. All right guys, so what we're doing here is I fired up some screen capture software so you can get a good idea of what this is going to look like when you hook it up with Microsoft Teams, WebEx, or Zoom. I want to go ahead and tell you this is probably the worst case scenario, as I've gotten thunderstorms outside, so we're not getting any really ambient natural light coming in the room, and there's a lot of background noise. So if this is the worst possible case scenario, you can only expect it to get better from here as the conditions in your office improve. Now let's get back to the video. So one last thing I changed. Originally I was using a mechanical keyboard on the computer setup. When I started working from home more, it became a large issue. It was too loud. If I was having to type at all with the microphone on, it was incredibly distracting to the people on the call. For the replacement, I went with the Logitech G915 with the linear key setup. Not only is it wireless, so it really cleans up the desk space, but it's also almost silent while feeling mechanical. It is the most expensive keyboard I've ever bought, but it became really worth it when we were working from home. Now let's go on to the desk setup. If you are someone who has to be in meetings for long periods of time during the day, and you have to run video the entire time, consider getting a stand-up desk. I have been using this uplift desk and it works out great for being able to stand and work to get the blood flowing. It also helps in keeping engaged when you're able to change how you are interacting with your computer and your workspace. Out of all of the upgrades we have done to my home office, this is my favorite one because working from home can just feel like you were stuck in a chair in a room sometimes. Being able to stand does a lot of good for your body and your mind. So guys, that is the setup that I have been using now in my office that has been great for all my conference calls, whether it be on WebEx, Teams, Zoom, or any other application where we have to be on video or audio. It makes for a really high quality setup that makes it look really professional at home when you cannot be there in person. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to friends that have run into situations where they're interviewing people or having meetings where the setup that a person is using really ruins the meeting and ruins the vibe, and they have a hard time conducting the meeting. So I want to hear what you guys are using down in the comment section below. Let me know what is working for you during this time where we're using our home offices a lot more. I will provide all the links down in the description below and some alternates for some cheaper options that are still really good. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know what you think. Until then, on the next one. Thanks guys, see you.